And welcome everyone. Great, welcome everyone. As you can see, we're recording and welcome to our Building Bridges virtual showcase. We're really excited to be here with you today. And this is our kickoff day and we're just thrilled to have Samm Delorey here with us, who's our artist that's going to be presenting a little bit later in a few minutes. And my name is Jacob Carter, and I work at the Partnership for Worker Education, and I have the real privilege of leading up our Building Bridges programming here on campus. And for those of you that know about us, Building Bridges, and for those of you who don't know about us, Building Bridges is a real collaboration among our office, that's the Partnership for Worker Education, Office of Equity and Inclusion and Civic Engagement and Service Learning. For today's session, everyone is on mute. You probably noticed that, and also no video. We welcome comments and questions in the chat as we go. And the session is being recorded, and it's also being casted live to Facebook. So for today's session, we're going to start off with land acknowledgement. I want to give a brief overview of Building Bridges, particularly for those folks who are less familiar with our work. I want to tell you a little bit about the showcase, and then we're going to move right along to our featured guest today, Samm Delorey. So to start off with our land acknowledgement, we'd like to begin this event and acknowledge that UMass stands on Nonotuck land. And we also want to acknowledge our neighboring Indigenous nations, Nipmuc and Wampanoag to the east, Mohegan and Pequot to the south, Mohegan to the west, and Abenaki to the north. And this is a land acknowledgement that was put together by 5 colleges, so I'm thankful for that. And Building Bridges is committed to honoring this truth, and we're also in the process of designing programming to raise awareness about current issues, particularly in the state of Massachusetts. We're going to be offering a dialogue session in the fall to talk about the change, this historic change of the state seal and flag. And so we hope that you all will join us at that and many of our other upcoming events. So as a little bit of an overview to Building Bridges, this really came out at the start of 2017, where you have long-standing political and social conflicts in the US, creating this rift in the ability to talk and engage with people across difference. And so that's the moment that the Building Bridges Public Art and Engagement Initiative comes out of. And we really started with a very small group. It came out of a meeting at the Center for Latin American, Caribbean, Latino Studies. And we wanted to focus on the very real and positive possibilities when people come together to build bridges across race, across religion, class, immigration status, gender, sexual orientation, age, ability, nationality, and more. And we really wanted to create a context for dialogue and reflection, but with a specific focus on solidarity and creative expression that would bring people together to bridge those differences. And so when we launched, for those of you who are on campus and may remember this, we gathered the word or the phrase Building Bridges in more than 20 languages that are spoken on campus. And Joseph Krupczynski from Civic Engagement Service Learning designed these large banners that integrated all that text. And that was how we launched Building Bridges. It was a real call to action. And since then, we've grown to have 4 core projects. We have the Our Immigrant Voices project, showcasing worker artists at UMass. We have the Building Bridges cards and the art installations. And then we have the Worker Rights as Human Rights. And we engage people through different mediums, different formats. We have courses for workers and sometimes workers and students together. We have special exhibitions. We have events. We have different installations and buildings around campus. We host film screenings and discussions. And then we also have trainings. And what I want to do is also just mention that a lot of the work and success of Building Bridges really draws on this 30-year legacy of work here at UMass from the Partnership for Worker Education led by Joe Connolly. And in the 90s, there were different worker artists gatherings. There was a radio show. There was a lot of energy. And so Building Bridges was really able to pick up on that energy and take it to a new place. And we have an active group. We have an active working group of folks, of faculty, staff, students that help make this happen. And today's showcase, for example, is very much part of that work and has really been led by a group of worker artists. So we're really thankful to them. And moving along, what I want to do is just tell you a little bit about what we were up to this last spring. Now, some of you may know this, but we get the sense that not everyone is aware of the full breadth of our work and the different opportunities. So I wanted to highlight these. We had these 2 courses. We'll be offering these again in the fall. So this is our Immigrant Voices course, where we're doing photo voice, participatory action research methodology. You'll see those projects next week. We have a showcasing worker artist group that's been meeting basically every week since campus shut down. It's a really phenomenal group of people, very creative, very supportive. It's a great community, and you're welcome to be involved in that. We also had a course called We Are for Freedoms, which was a collaboration with the Museum of Contemporary Art here at UMass. We had a course in partnership with the Labor Center, facilitated by Pat Greenfield, about Ralph Fasanella and the Bread and Roses work. We also had different events. We had, well, everything was virtual this spring, but we'll be doing in person again, hopefully very soon. We have film events regularly. That's part of the Watch, Learn, Grow series out of the Office of Equity and Inclusion. We also had an artist talk and demonstration by Miwa Matrejak, and that was in collaboration with the Fine Arts Center. We also had a collaboration with Afro-Am and the Labor Center, and invited Professor Yemisi Jimo and Tom Jurevich, along with Jerry Levinsky, to give a session on music resistance and social movements. And then we've also been partnering with the UMass Union's Labor Chorus to have monthly song swaps. So there's really a lot going on. There are a lot of different collaborators on campus. These are most of the collaborators here, and I'm sure there are more that I didn't get to, but really it's an outstanding team of people across campus that are making this happen. And so I just wanted to give that brief overview. And what I'd like to do now is actually take you to our galleries, because we went live today with our gallery, and I want to make sure that everyone knows how to get there and how to navigate. So our website is worker-ed/BB Showcase 2021. And I believe Lisa's going to put that in the chat for y'all so that you can check it out when you like. So here we go. Welcome to the 2021 Building Bridges Virtual Showcase. Inspire and be inspired. And this is really, I think, our theme for this year, because we have drawn so much inspiration from those of us who are working alongside each other in the worker artist group and in the Our Immigrant Voices group. Being in community inspires us. And then we also know that our creative work and our showing up inspires others. And so we're just thrilled to have more than 70 participants in this year's session. These are our schedule of events for this week. Today is obviously with Samm Delorey. Tomorrow we have 2 sessions, one at 12 with Jeff Dalzell. He's going to walk us through some of his really remarkable paintings that he's done here on campus and in response to different social issues. Tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. with Wayne Gagnon will be a really fun session of sketching and riffing with Wayne. And then on Thursday at noon, we have a session with Sally Prash, and she's going to show us some of her glass blowing. So we're really excited about that. You can sign the guest book here. Please do if you visit, and share feedback with the artists. Look at this list of artists here. It almost goes off the page, but you can search by artists here, and it will take you down to a gallery where that person is featured. And to give you a sense of the virtual galleries, they pop open just like this as you scroll down. let's go right to S and Z here. And you can see up here, there's an icon that helps you put this into full screen. So that's really the best way to view it. And then you go down here, and this is a menu that pops up, and you can see the different artists that are featured in this gallery. It is done alphabetically, so you can see here all of these artists have shared work, and you can check out their work. If you click on the person, it takes you right to their page. This is Donna Vanasse. And then you can see down here, there's an icon to move you forward. There's oftentimes an artist statement that people share. In this case, Donna has shared videos. So if you want to watch that video, you just click the play button. And then to get back out to the menu, if you want to look at the other folks again, you can come back here. So we really hope that you take some time to get into those galleries, check it out. There's just a lot of amazing work, a lot of creativity, and we're really excited to be launching the website today as well. So like I said, please check out the galleries. You're welcome to share this broadly. Last year's showcase had more than 13,000 views. That's on both social media and in our digital galleries. So it's really astounding, and it's wonderful to see how much this connects with people and connects with you all. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us today. And I'd like to invite our featured artist today, Samm, to join us. I know Samm is here, and we can get your video on. It's possible. Let's see. So Samm, can you you able to put video on? Okay, great. And let's make sure you can unmute yourself.
Okay, great. I didn't know once I turned off my video, I'd be locked out from turning it back on.
Sorry about that. But so welcome. It's wonderful to have you here, and thank you so much for joining us for the live session today. And yeah, and so we would love to hear from you. You wrote a children's book, The Yell of Teddy Drake. Yay, there it is. So congratulations on your book.
Yeah, and I'd love to read it for you. Instead of reading it from a book that is blurred out, I made a presentation so everyone can read along with me. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'll just start by reading. All right. So this is The Yell of Teddy Drake. It's written by me, Samm Delorey, and it's illustrated by Vivian Franklin, who made absolutely beautiful art. I was very happy to work with her. Mm-hmm. Oh, I actually can't be in Zoom to control my PowerPoint. I have to go here. Sorry, 1 second. I thought I worked out all my technical kinks. I was like, it's not clicking. All right. I started my day with the tiniest yell. I felt it down deep so nobody could tell. The secret inside me did not feel quite right. I wanted to run and I wanted to fight. I woke knowing today was going to be a day that I visit mommy and daddy. If my yell kept growing, I was going to scream. I didn't want them knowing that I was mean. I know that I love them, but sometimes I feel torn, hurt, and frustrated. Thoughts I try to conceal. Having these thoughts makes my yell grow much bigger. Keeping these thoughts sets my belly a quiver. I wish we could just play to get rid of my yell. I wish that I just had somebody to tell. I missed a page of my book in my presentation. Excuse me for a second. I'm going to go back and just read from the book for a second, and then I'll fix it later for continuity. Oh, I just skipped the page. I did it. All right. Sorry, everyone. I have friends with 2 mommies and friends with 1 dad. but I've never known any swan that has had two mommies, two daddies, and siblings galore who build all their nests upon 4 different shores. I have sisters and brothers who live with geese, and some of my siblings with Grammy Patrice. Living on different shores makes me wonder when I will see all of my sisters and brothers. Wondering this wonder can make my yell grow. It's stressful not knowing what I want to know. I don't want to upset the swans or the drakes, but my yell grows inside me as soon as I wake. Mama Drake tells me I'm loved and accepted. Does loving them all make some feel rejected? At my visit today, my yell just exploded. My parents were shocked by what I emoted. I thought they'd be mad or just tell me to hush. I worried they'd yell or just leave in a rush. Instead, they grew quiet and drew me in near. They whispered they loved me, told me not to fear. They're happy I do love my home with the drakes. They told me their love carries far across lakes. They even feel love for my family of ducks. Finding their nest was marvelously good luck. The swans wish they could raise me, but they also know the drakes love and care, and they help me to grow. My mommy told me that I should take some time. I can blow bubbles or think of a rhyme the next time I feel my yell start to grow. It helps to tell someone, so not just I know. My mommy and mama and daddy and dad may also feel yells when they're nervous or sad. Having a yell caused me lots of dismay. Sometimes it gets out, but it will be okay. My parents do love me through all my frustrations. They know that sometimes I'm in hard situations. Some have called me ugly duck, a foul misfit, but it's more than just looks that makes families legit. My siblings tell me that I should take some pride. Our family is never a reason to hide. We love each other, though from different nests. Loving each other is what family does best. And I also included my end page because it's important to me. So Love Bound Press is dedicated to increasing and improving the representation of children in foster, adoptive, and blended families. You can learn more about that at my website, which is loveboundpress.org. And also very important to me is accessibility. And this typeface, which is in the book, is called Open Dyslexic, which helps with some symptoms of dyslexia in reading. And it's a free open source font you can use in anything you want. So I highly recommend it because it helps a lot of people I know read easier. And that's my book. And I'll learn how to use PowerPoint after this presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sam.
Absolutely.
It's a really lovely book, and it's clear that a lot of intention went into the planning and the writing. And what we'll do now is I have a few questions, but we also want to open it up to questions and thoughts from the folks here in our Zoom room. And so first, we just wanted to hear, tell us what inspired you to write a children's book in the first place.
Sure. So I have built my family through foster care. I have 2 young kiddos who live with me. And in trying to find books that reflect our family, there wasn't anything. And every family is unique. Being built through foster care doesn't mean that all families look the same. But in our situation, my children have many siblings who live in a lot of different homes, and we see them with different frequencies. And I couldn't find anything that showed foster parents and adoptive parents working well with biological families to build a family that was best for their kiddos. Mm-hmm. And so I really felt inspired to write it. And I hate, since I've become a foster parent, I hate the idea of the ugly duckling where you find your family when you find the people you look like, because especially in America in foster care, you don't look like your family typically. Most kids who are in foster care are kids of color, and most adoptive and foster parents are not. And so there's so many stories. Are You My Mother, The Ugly Duckling, all these books that say like, once you find the people you look like, you're home. And it's like, well, let's rewrite that story and find something where kids can connect to, even if they don't look like the family that they're with.
Wow, that's really powerful. And I think, particularly your own personal experience, and really, it sounds like your own real desire to share that with your own children, then kind of launched you into writing this children's book.
Yeah, it was not a passion I ever pursued. And this came out of it. And then also Lovebound Press came out of a really good reception to the book. I originally published the book through a Kickstarter campaign, and I was really, really blown away by how much support I was given. And so through that, I was able to publish both The Yell of Teddy Drake in English and also El Lamento de Pato Enzo in Spanish. Can't show you now, but it's translated by the UMass Translation Center. And to also form Lovebound Press. So because I never wanted to be a children's book author, I don't want profits from my book. And so I've turned all of the profits from the book into Lovebound Press, which we filed now. We're not yet a nonprofit organization, but we filed with the state to be a nonprofit organization whose goal is to print other people's work. My ideal is printing kids who have been in foster care and been adopted books so that there's better, more positive representation of foster, adoptive, and blended families in children's literature.
Wow. So it's a really powerful. The story of the story is really powerful, and there's a question in the chat about how you found the illustrator, because I agree. The illustrations are really lovely and playful and sweet.
Yeah, I actually think that the illustrator's father is watching this right now. I know the illustrator through a friend of mine. She's my friend's sister, and I just followed her work on social media and love her illustrations. And I bought a few for my kids' room. And when I was envisioning the story, I really had her style of art in mind. I've become so immersed in the world of children's literature. I never realized before all the different types of art and computer animation versus hand drawn, which is what my book is all hand drawn. We actually, as part of fundraising for the book, sold the original illustrations. So they're in many different states across the country right now. Colored pencil illustrations. And Vivian Franklin is a local nurse, and she on the side is a fantastic artist, and so she illustrated the books for me.
Neat. And can you see the chat too? Do you see the comments coming in and the?
I do. I can't keep up with everything. It's going very quickly.
Yeah, a lot of positive feedback. About the beautiful story, the meaningful themes. I love also how you've taken, some of these what are considered, classic stories and really reframe them for now, for today's time, and with a real particular focus on highlighting blended and foster families, and what that would look like in a children's book. And it sounds like that Lovebound Press is going to be doing future books, with themes. And so I was also curious to hear if you already have some ideas, or if you're, intending to riff on or kind of be in conversation with more classic stories and reframing them, with this new lens.
That's a great question. I personally don't have any. I'm hoping that as my kiddos get older, we can write things together, because I want to reflect more their first person perspective as opposed to a parental perspective of being a foster parent as well. But at this point, there isn't anything in the works for me personally, but at this point, I'm just hoping to publish the work of others.
Neat. That sounds like a great plan. There's a question from Jen Dolan about where is the best place to purchase the book.
I will say out loud and I will type it. It is available on Amazon because it's the biggest seller of everything in the world. But the best place to purchase it is through my website, which is loveboundpress.org. And so that way Amazon doesn't make more billions of dollars, and it all goes right back into the nonprofit.
Great, and I can share, this is the loveboundpress.org site here, and it's a really well put together site, very easy to maneuver. You can see here the text, and there's also a full reading as well on the website, and that's something that's included in our virtual galleries as well. So for folks that either don't catch today or just want to hear it again or see it again, hear it read again, it's available in the galleries.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We're open to questions as well here. There's so many great comments, and lots of love for the book and the theme, moving story, gorgeous illustrations. A lot of thanks for sharing it with us here.
Thanks for coming. I really appreciate everyone coming and listening.
Absolutely. So it sounds like folks are going to check out the website, and we're so thankful that you joined us today and helped us kick off our Building Bridges live sessions, Sam.
My pleasure.
And please keep us posted too as you publish new books. I'm happy to share that out with folks on our list. And I think that people that are participating in Building Bridges really want to support each other and support this kind of creative work, because we know it takes passion and courage and sometimes loss of sleep and other factors. And so we're just really appreciative of the time that you put into it, and also for taking the time to share with us today.
Cool. And I saw a question from Joe in the chat. So he asked, how did I feel when I finished? Which is funny because you just on this, Jacob. Exhausted, especially running a Kickstarter campaign was really outside the boundaries of what I'm very introverted. And so I had to really put myself out there to get it funded. And that was really challenging for me. So when everything went through and it was edited and done, it just felt really great. But I think for me, the best part is I delivered it in person to a child in Northampton who is adopted, and she just read it and was like, this is about an adopted kid. And I was like, yeah, it is. And it just, for me, I've had kids who just have felt so seen by the book, and that feels to me amazing, absolutely amazing. So that for me is the most rewarding part, because representation does matter. That's so much of what you talked about in the beginning. And kids in foster care and adopted kids are really marginalized in a lot of ways. And so finding that representation for them is so important to me.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for that great question, and that's a wonderful way to sign off, just in thinking about that exchange and the connection, because of course you write the book so that it can be read and appreciated by others, right? And so that they can feel seen and get excited about their own story being in a book.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again so much, Sam, and thanks to everyone who joined us today. It's wonderful to have everyone here in support of Sam and as a part of our Building Bridges showcase. And we do have more live sessions tomorrow at noon and again at 8 p.m. We encourage you to check out our website, and you can register for the live sessions there. Be sure to check out the galleries. There's just a lot of amazing work that's in the galleries right now. And so take some time and peruse through there. And we look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.